Hey guys, welcome back. DripCoach here with Drip and Farm for property where we don't trust, we verify and operate with integrity and transparency. Today we're diving into a clip from the president of El Salvador, President Nayib Bukele, who recently, about 6 months ago, addressed the Conservative Political Action Conference in DC and gave some stark warnings about the financial situation of the US and what El Salvador saw and how we are moving in the same vein. So stay tuned. All right, it's about, like I said, 6 months ago, and it was a 24-minute clip. And the reason it just popped up for me is it was showing up on my Twitter feed, X feed. I still can call it Twitter. And it was a 2-minute clip. So I went back and actually watched the original here. And basically in the entire video, Bukele emphasizes that institutions we trust are losing their way. And it was not just in El Salvador, but in other countries. And it's happening in the US right now, which is the most powerful nation in regards to owning the world reserve currency. So in this speech, or address, I should say, he urged Americans to fight the principles that founded their institution rather than just defending the institutions themselves. And one of the more critical points he brings up is about the financial system and how many people believe that high taxes are the main issue, but Bukele argues that the real problem is much deeper. And I'm going to play that clip for you guys here. It's about 3 minutes worth.
Of the United States. When I talk to my conservative friends right here, they always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. You're right in that. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. Not even those high taxes, higher than a lot of places in the world, not even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds, paper. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But
yeah, you got to stop there. So that's kind of peeling back the curtain, and most people aren't aware of this. But the reason I want to bring this up for this video and kind of now is that it's becoming a talking point in a lot of different discussions and arenas. So I know going through school when I grew up, like this kind of transparency and information wasn't even thought about. You know, nobody really questioned it. But once the 2008 financial crisis happened and the Bitcoin white paper was written, that kind of let people know that, hey, there's something going on. But ironically, this goes back way beyond that. Henry Ford is known for this famous quote: "It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and money system, for if they did, I believe there will be a revolution before tomorrow morning." So there's always been questions about how the money is being handled in various governments. If you go back and read The Creature from Jekyll Island, you'll find out how the Federal Reserve was created. And you go back even further than that with the funding of wars between different countries and kind of playing both sides. So the reason I think this is paramount now is because it's always been there. It seems like it's always been known by a few, but now it is kind of mainstream, and you can find, X threads and Reddit posts and YouTube videos, Instagram videos, Facebook posts. So it's kind of all over the place. And for a president of another country to come out and say this during a conference, I believe it's par for the course for what we should expect at this stage and why this particular cycle is going to be huge. Let's continue.
what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed. The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It's shocking, but it's true.
Mic drop. Taxes for the illusion that you're funding the government, but you're not. Yeah, anyone that has been around and dug behind the curtain, yeah, you'll realize that the system is not sustainable, and there is definitely some underhanded, sleight of hand stuff going on, and you see how the wealth and your debasement of the money that you use is going into hands of others. So everything that he's talking about here, like taxes and the treasury bonds and all that stuff like that, it's just moving numbers around on a piece of paper, but all of it slides to the top. And then the middle class, lower class, even those that are considered wealthy that just may not be, well, I guess say rich, wealthy would be different, but even they are kind of footing that bill. So I brought all this up because, like I said, it's important because of this cycle. We see these talking points coming out in full force, and Bitcoin getting adopted, not only by countries, I think there's two now. So it's El Salvador and another country in Africa somewhere that has made it legal tender, but it's a big talking point for this upcoming election. And we heard President Trump talk about his stance on it. Also, RFK, what he wants with a Bitcoin reserve. So, like it or not, how the US government swings on crypto has a global kind of ripple effect, which we saw in the last cycle with the way the SEC was throwing out Wells notices and doing crypto legislation by enforcement, basically. And that saw tons of dips just because of unfavorable news events or expectations coming from the alphabet soup government agencies and their stance on crypto. But now that there is the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF, and again, these talking points coming out in the news and more people waking up to what's happening with their currencies and happening all over the world, I think this is just a catalyst for what will be taking place in this cycle. Which reminds me of this video that just came out from Simply Bitcoin, where he's talking about 159 countries dumping the dollar for Bitcoin, and tied primarily to what BRICS is doing and other countries. I think Russia and China have been settling in their native currency for a lot of trade, and other countries are looking at that as well because of the way that the dollar was being weaponized. So all of these factors together definitely point towards this cycle just being massive, and that ties into Raoul Pal's everything code. And this next 10 years, I guess it's going to be more like 7 or 8 now, years being the biggest opportunity for wealth accumulation that we've probably ever seen, and how it's important to quote unquote not fuck this up and focus on Bitcoin, ETH, Solana type stuff like that if you're in the space, and avoid the degenerate gambling, chasing meme tokens and shit tokens and community hype and all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think. I just thought that was telling the recap on this in case you didn't catch this speech. And again, interesting to see a president of another country kind of throwing this out there transparently. So it's like the Band-Aid has been ripped off. The only way you would not be aware of the monetary system is if you don't have a pulse or you choose to stick your head in the sand and believe everything's okay. So we'll see what happens going forward, but hope you got your bags packed for the moon and you have your Bitcoin and your stacking sats. All right. Smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.
Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? SPRITZ Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.